Capitol Hill now, member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, independent Senator Angus King from the great state of Maine. Senator King, what were you thinking when you saw that picture in the front of the Washington Post this morning, probably on the Portland Press Herald front page too, of the Russians in the Oval Office with the President of the United States?
And I think what made it even harder to take was that our press was kept out of that room, and it just in the aftermath of the firing of James Comey, to have that on top of it it really doesn't make a lot of sense. I think that this is it's sort of spiraling out of control. I'm trying to keep my head down and work on our investigation in the Senate Intelligence Committee and not be distracted by the polls and all of the atmospherics that are going on, because we're making some progress and we're going to keep at it.
Senator Mark Halperin here. Good morning. In the aftermath of the still murky role that the Deputy Attorney General, Mr. Rosenstein, played in the firing of James Comey, make the case that he's still the right person to oversee the investigation into Russia and alleged ties to the Trump organization?
I don't think he is. There's a statute still in place where he has the power to appoint what's called an independent counsel or a special counsel. And I think that's absolutely necessary. I mean, the problem is, well, number one, I don't understand Jeff Sessions being involved in the decision to fire James Comey at all, because he recused himself supposedly from anything to do with Russia, and he said directly or indirectly, whatever it was, and then he signs the letter to the president saying you got to fire this guy. That's a recusal. That's like a blind trust with 20/20 vision. I mean, he shouldn't have been involved in that decision. And then Rosenstein submitted this memo the day of the firing. It looks awfully much like the thing was, I think it's called reverse engineering. The decision was made and then they said, give us a justification. I think this is all about public confidence, and I don't see how there can be public confidence in the continuation of the FBI investigation without leadership that's absolutely impeccable, and it's got to be independent, and it has to be perceived as independent. And by the way, the people of the FBI are terrific, and they are principled and patriotic, and they're going to do the right thing. But the question is, A, they've got to have the strong leadership, and B, it's got to be absolutely clearly independent. And Rod Rosenstein has the power to do that, and he ought to do it tomorrow.
Senator, it's Bianna Golodryga. What was your reaction? What went through your mind when you read the president's letter when he let James Comey go? That very short letter, but he happened to include that within their conversations, 3 conversations, the president said that James Comey assured him that he was not under investigation regarding Russia. Can you tell me what you thought, and what questions do you have now for both the president and for Jim Comey?
Well, I think the first thing that went through my mind was Ronald Reagan's old line, there he goes again. It's very hard for me to believe that James Comey would have met with the president and given him those kind of assurances in the middle of this ongoing investigation. I don't know what he said. We've all been in conversations where we hear what we want to hear. I'm skeptical. The last line was sort of weird, too. Good luck in your future endeavors. I have a hard time believing that Director Comey would have made a statement like that to the president under these circumstances.
Yeah, and Senator Joe Scarborough here. One last question. Could James Comey have a role in the Senate investigation?
You know, I made that suggestion yesterday morning, sort of half jokingly, but the more I've thought about it and talked to some of my colleagues, I think it makes some sense. Number one, he needs a job. Number two, he's of impeccable integrity. He knows this issue. He knows investigating. And I'm going to urge my colleagues that we consider having him as at least a consultant to the committee. My original suggestion was we put him in charge of the staff to lead the investigation. I'm not sure that's going to happen, but clearly I think he has a contribution to make, and we shouldn't let his knowledge and experience just sit on the side of the road.
All right, Senator Angus King, thank you so much for being with us. We greatly appreciate it.